Very good. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And you're Brian Smith, and you're driving the Viper.
Yep, driving the Mopar Viper.
Tell me a little bit about the car.
It's basically a 2003 Viper that Mopar has taken and added their performance products that they have, like springs and dampers, camshaft, and wing and splitter, that type of thing. Basically parts you can order out of their catalog.
Right. And it's a Chrysler-owned car.
Yes, it is.
And you work for Chrysler?
No, I do not. I actually work for Michelin doing some tire testing, and then have a side company that I do a lot of testing for some of the car companies and tuners and that type of thing.
Well, this is you've won one lap how many times?
One lap 3 times.
3 times, and you're running second this year.
Yep, running second right now.
What are the chances, do you think, for pulling it out this year?
Not too good unless the mark in the Porsche in front of us makes a little mistake. We had some difficulties on the first couple of events that lost us about 100 points that were made a good part of it up, but not all of it yet.
Well, what happened? What happened at Heartland Park?
Yeah, we had a wet skid pad. We had a little problem where we finished, originally we finished first, they announced, and then we finished, ended up 13th, 15th, so not sure what all happened there. And then
you looked really fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you were extremely fast compared to the others.
Yeah, everybody's, somehow they said when they went back and checked this timing later that it came up with that the timing was off, and so I'm not sure exactly what happened other than that's what we got stuck with, and we went from there. And then Heartland Park in the morning, we were out in the first group, which was still damp out, and then a lot of our guys behind us were a little bit in more dry conditions, so we finished like 8th there, which put us back, and then from there on we've been first, second most of the way, so making points back up, but need a little help.
How do you see one lap changing over the years?
It's in the, how long have we done? 5 years now. First year was we had there were a lot of tuners, a lot involved, so probably more involvement. Kind of dropped off maybe a little bit there from that standpoint, but the last couple of years been a lot of factory stuff. You know, see Chrysler here and Porsche with a factory back car, and Lincoln, this Ford's here with the Lincoln, and some of the tuners coming back with the Evo and that type of thing coming back to what's kind of up in the ante for what it takes to run up at the front.
What are you going to do next year?
I don't know. Next year may not be running. I wasn't planning on running this year, and then kind of all came together at the last minute. So I'm not sure what they're going to plan on next year, but may take next year off.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. No problem.
Tell me your name, sir.
My name is Mark Davia.
And you're driving the leading car so far?
So far, we're ahead in points. This is our 2001 Porsche 996 twin turbo.
So what have you done to it?
The car is relatively stock. We have a double industrial JRG suspension. We have wider wheels and Stop Tech front brake pads. The major modifications would be GT1 turbochargers and custom ECU programming.
And you've got a water spray system for the engine?
Right. What we were looking to do was to lower our intake charge temps, and instead of changing to a different intercooler, the highest efficiency we were able to get was 10% more than the stock intercoolers. We were able to get 22%, roughly 22% efficiency using a water spray system.
So what does that make? What does it make for horsepower with the water spray system?
This car produces 492 horsepower at the wheels.
At the wheels.
Yep.
And what does it weigh?
It weighs, with the driver, 3,500 pounds. It is all-wheel drive.
And the driver's doing very well.
I'm pushing it 9.9 tenths. Trying to stay ahead of Brian in points. Today we beat him, but this is the second time we beat Brian. So we're just trying to do the best we can with our amateur effort here.
So you're a privateer.
Privateer.
No sponsorship.
No sponsorship. Other than the company I own, that's it.
What is your company?
We own a John Deere dealership back in Connecticut.
John Deere's not bad.
Oh, great product.
How come the car's silver, not green?
You know, I don't think John Deere green was an option, but I guess through their special There's special wishes. What does Porsche have? There's special, what do they call
Color
it?
match to sample.
Color match to sample. You can actually take a color swatch to Porsche and they'll do the interior, exterior, whatever color you want. But
You know what I think?
silver looks better.
About 150 miles an hour in fifth gear. We're looking for a braking point. Take your left foot, give the brakes a pump, make sure we've got a good pedal. Come to the 4 marker, hit the brakes really hard. We downshift from fifth to fourth, turn into the corner. We're looking for the exit. We don't want to run wide. Trying to carry as much speed as we can because we're in a car with not very much grip, but a whole lot of power. Get down from fourth to third gear, turn in, look for a late apex, get lined up with the straightaway and get on the gas. Still on it, fourth gear, still on it, fifth gear. Now we're looking for our next braking point. Now we're really starting to go again, close to 150 miles an hour. Road meanders a little bit to the left and then goes downhill. So you get to the first brake marker and really just drop anchor on the brakes. Downshift from fifth to fourth, fourth to third. Turn in, try not to overcook the turn because it'll ruin the speed going up the next straight. Climb the hill, fourth gear, back to third right under the bridge. Turn in, try not to slide too much. Get it back into fourth gear. We got a fourth gear corner, we turn right, kind of turn early and straighten it out. Wide open all the way around it. Now we're gonna go downhill a little bit, carry a lot of energy into this corner. Downshift from fourth to third, step on the brakes hard. Turn in, use a little bit of the curb sometimes. Back up to fourth gear for the carousel. Enter the carousel about the center of the track and just carry as much speed around it as we can. Try to tighten a little bit at the exit. Try not to overcook the middle. But it's not as long as a straightaway after it as it used to be because of the chicane coming up. Get up to the chicane, hard braking. Fourth to third to second gear, and we give up the entry to the chicane. Don't try to go too fast there because we want to be able to get on the gas early coming out of it onto the next straightaway. Just as fast as the other. Second to third gear, to fourth gear, to fifth gear. About 150 miles an hour. And the road bends around to the left, kind of swing out to the right and get lined up with the braking zone on the left. And really brake hard. I mean, the car's getting squirrely. Downshift to fourth, to third. Try not to slide the car too much, but you got to keep on the track. Back up to fourth. Gonna come out from under this bridge, stab the brakes once, leave it in fourth. Crank to the left. Coming up onto the turn, it's important because it comes onto the front straight. Try not to get into it too deep and ruin the exit. Back into third gear. Turn in, feather the throttle, just feather in as much as it'll take and stay on the track. Back to fourth gear, fifth gear. Up the hill. 150 miles an hour. Now we're looking for a braking zone again for turn one. Get to the end of the pit wall, we're checking the brakes with our left foot, looking for the marker, and hit the brakes. Downshift from fifth to fourth, back to turn one again.
Well, this is Brock Yates. You started this whole thing, Brock. How did it come about? How did One Lap begin?
Well, Bill, we had run 4 Cannonball Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy dashes in the 1970s. With the last one in 1979 had led to the movie The Cannonball Run.
And you wrote it, right?
Yeah, which I wrote and was involved in the production. Of course, the ambulance that we used in the actual event with my wife and Hal Needham, we used in the movie as the feature car with Burt Reynolds and Farrah Fawcett. But anyway, after that event had been run in actuality in 1979. The record had fallen down to under 33 hours coast to coast.
Did you set that?
No. It was set by 2 guys. David Hines, who's passed on now, fine driver, and David Yarborough is a Lexus dealer in Charleston, South Carolina, still there, in an XJS Jaguar.
Mm-hmm.
And the best we had done was with Dan Gurney in 1971, which was essentially the same record as just under 36 hours in a snowstorm. But anyway, the whole history of the Cannonball is different and separate. But I could see at the end of that race that there were some people that were really, really I mean, the edge was going off, and in terms of kind of its good humor, and people were really getting serious about it. And I knew that if we ever continued to run it, we were going to kill somebody. If we were having more and more intense competition, inevitably it was irising down to people really trying to get across the country fast. So I decided, after I saw some people that had cars that had been built that were going to be much faster on the open road than anybody should be driving sensibly, I decided I'd never do it again, and I will never do it again. But there were an awful lot of people that wanted to kind of continue on with the kind of open road contests. So in 1984, after a variety of kind of false starts, I started One Lap of America. And the contest would be, for the first 3 or 4 years, it was very long. It ran all the way around the United States.
It was literally a one lap, wasn't it?
It was literally one lap. It was over 8,000 miles, 8,500 miles. It was a series of simple kind of checkpoints and controls. Actually, when 4 airports, if you can believe it, you had to get a parking receipt from the Boston airport, the Seattle airport, the San Diego airport, the Miami airport. I mean, it was an insane event. It made no sense at all. But through the 80s, we kind of refined it into a period wherein we were doing a series of stage rallies, which are very complicated to run, very difficult to enforce, just a complexity of the rally format requires an awful lot of people, an awful lot of very accurate timing, a lot of protests and complaints and whatever. We didn't do it right. So in the late 80s, I finally decided the only way to run One Lap of America was a pure speed contest, fast car wins, on a collection of racetracks around the country. And so what we've done really since the early 90s is refined it over this is the 21st year. But the last 10 or 15 years, it's been a contest of essentially street legal automobiles run on a variety of racetracks around the United States. We've formatted it around 4,000 to 5,000 miles over a span of a week. That seems to be about the most practical limits on people's ability to get out of work for a week's vacation, the amount of time that we can do. We want to try to give the competitors as much time on the racetracks, because obviously that's what they've come for, is to enjoy their cars, and in contests that we try to make safe and fun for all varieties of cars. It's different than it's the old Southern stock car mantra of run what you brung, and as long as the cars are registered and inspected and insured for use on the American highways, they're perfectly adequate and acceptable in one lap.
This is practically the only open event left, isn't it?
Pretty much so. Most other events, Bill, are irised down into some pretty tight rules. So we try to keep it as open as we can and have everybody bring what they want to bring. And what we do is it's sort of tiered into a variety of contests. We've got, obviously at the front, we've got very serious corporate involvement with factory cars and professional drivers. And then most of the mid-level cars are semi-professional efforts with good, very interesting and unique vehicles and good, solid, experienced race drivers who do a very good job. And then we have not at the bottom tier, but the third tier is a group of people that just drive it for fun. They love to come out and spend a little time driving, the camaraderie of long distance, long road trips, and being able to experience some driving on racetracks in which they'd never be able to ever be exposed to is appealing to them. So we try to make everybody, make it attractive to everybody, that from the hardcore professional with the factory car right down to the person that has his old Chevy Impala and he just wants to drive around and have a fun weekend or week.
And are you having fun?
Yeah, I only have fun in this event when I see everybody else is having fun. That's the most. I mean, the component here is we have a lot of we have competitors here that spend a lot of money to do this, and it's my obligation to give them a week of good fun and enjoyment, and that's very important to me. And obviously, to have them have a safe weekend. So we work very hard to make sure that our racetracks are safe. The concern here is always the transit zones and fatigue levels. So we try to. This one is a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But there was a lot of people that wanted to go to Sears Point. It's a venue where the Nextel Cup cars run, and some of the competitors. It's just like playing in Yankee Stadium. We try to give them a few venues on each year that involves really notable, legendary racing venues. So there's a kind of excitement factor built into it that you kind of run where the best drivers in the world run. So that meant that we had to run all the way to Sears Point and back, and that was a difficult run. But we vary the year by year, or the route year by year, and have try to enlist as many new venues as we can each year. So we'll continue to do it, I think. I hope, God willing.
Thanks, Brock.
Okay, kiddo.
A very fast Subaru, driven by Adam and Andrew Firestone. Well, this is what happens when you go off the track at Road America.
Fun on its
freelance. Andrew Firestone will not be denied. He wanted to get every event in one way or another, even after the problems that he had at Road America yesterday. 1.6 in the counterclockwise direction.